and try and like respond to a conversation that they've started that they don't even know they're having with me yet, which just works like really well. So it's kind of weird and it felt a little creepy at first, but it worked, and it's worked a lot actually. So kind of like honing in on what people, because believe it or not, people like share their problems on Facebook a lot. So I try and like correct their problems with my products.
I love that, Lauren.
And it's worked a lot. So I don't know. People talk about, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I don't know how I'm keeping up with my kids. And I'm like, oh, let me tell you how I keep up with mine. And so that kind of gets the conversation started. So
I love that. And that's just such an easy in because like you said,
totally.
They're always complaining on Facebook. They're always
completely. And so I try and take away their complaints.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And with 40 products, like we literally have someone to meet everyone's complaints. Like I was just
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was just telling Tiffany today about Confianza, the anti-stress, anti-anxiety supplement. I mean, how many people talk about how stressed they are like on a daily basis on Facebook, Mm-hmm. So, and it's affordable too. So that's what I love about it is most of our products, are less than $1 a day people can afford. So mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay. I think I had a couple other questions for you, Lauren. Let me look real quick. Hold on one second. Angel was having a hard time hearing the hearing. Let me message her real quick. Okay. Oops. So you would say for the most part, just with balancing it with your full-time job, you're pretty much working your business in like a power hour a day. You're just breaking it up like lunch break and bedtime. So absolutely. You don't feel like you're having to like think about it all throughout the day. You're just talking about it with people that, like you said, seem interested or complaining. And then the rest of it, you're just having those intentional 30-minute spurts.
Yeah. And something else that this sounds super materialistic and really shallow, but when people say something to me, I guess I've found myself feeling like I need to look like I have myself together more often. Like normally on a Sunday morning, I made to go to church in like my children's ministry t-shirt and jeans. And I found myself feeling like, okay, I need to look like I've got it together because somebody undoubtedly is going to ask and be like, hey, I saw you're putting this stuff on Facebook. Like, oh my gosh, your hair looks so good or your skin's looking really good. And it's like an automatic open, like, oh, well, let me tell you, let me tell you why or whatever. I make it a point to like, I don't wear like a hoodie to do Sunday school because that makes me look chubby. And so I want people to know like, oh my gosh, you do look like you've lost 15 pounds. And then it's like an easy, like, yeah, girl, I have. And this is what's been helping me. So kind of, I always have that mindset. Like every time I talk to somebody, they're a potential customer.
Yeah.
So kind of keeping that in the forefront of my head. Like my husband says, always be selling. Because that's what he does for a living. Like he is a professional salesperson. And so he says, you always be selling. Every time you're talking to somebody, they're a customer.
Yeah.
So I try and guide conversations.
Yeah.
So
that's really great advice. Because whenever I got started, that was one thing that was hard for me was like prejudging people. And that was something like all the trainings say that, you watch early on is don't ever prejudge anybody because the person that you think, oh, they probably wouldn't even be very good. Like they could join your team and be a rock star. And so that's one thing that's been golden for me is just not always thinking that I know who's going to be good or who's not or who would want. Can you hear my kids screaming?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the door's shut. Zach, you're failing. Zach's out there with them. I don't know what's going on. I'm in the guest room. But yeah, it's been really helpful for me to like just constantly remind myself, don't ever prejudge anybody. And even about the products, like it's funny, the people that I think like, oh, they'll never be interested in the products, I'll get a message from them eventually. And it's like one of those things, like you said, like I probably could have reached out to them later and they would have been receptive, but it was just me. And then they ended up, inevitably coming. So anyways, well, okay. So let's go ahead and go on to Michelle. And I'm recording this for anyone that hops on late or hold on. Sorry. Okay. Anyone that hops on late or that just couldn't watch it. I didn't hit record until like 60 seconds into your tips, Lauren. So,
okay.
But hopefully they'll get the gist of what you were saying. I think I clicked record right when you were talking about your lunch break. So anyways, okay. So let's go on to Michelle. Michelle, you want to unmute yourself? I'm trying to unmute you. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yep. Perfect.
All right. Okay. So Michelle, I want you to tell everybody like how you are turning like just a simple conversation, someone coming to you about maybe fat fighters, for example, or anything small, like how you're turning that into like a whole regimen for them. Because I feel like you're just the master of upselling. Someone comes to you for one thing, they're checking out with 5 things. So how are you doing that without being salesy? Because we all know nobody likes to be sold to, but everybody loves to buy. And I feel like you're capitalizing on that very well.
Yeah, so whenever someone comes to me and they tell me they want fat fighters, they're like, I just tell them, okay, well, this is what the fat fighters does. And then we kind of talk more about what their goals are. And because I've used the products and I know how well they work, I can push them to try to get other things. And that's just really the secret. I just keep talking about the future, like, oh, well, this also does this for you. And if you want to meet this goal, this is what you can do. I had a lady when the protein shakes came out. She wants to use the protein shake, but it can't be used as a replacement for your meal. But I told her, I said, well, if you get greens with it and put it in your protein shake, then bam, there's a meal replacement for you. And so we're still talking, but now she's thinking about it and she wants to do it. But now she had to go to the hospital and stuff, so it's been weird. But anyways, like, that's what she was interested in. She's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a great idea. I should do that. So whenever I talk to people, that's all I'm doing is just saying, hey, this is how the product works. It works best with this. And then I'll even talk about, I got someone to buy the Fat Fighters and the ThermoFit together because I told them it's a better deal than if you sell them separately. And so I do that. And then I also just tell the customers that, I want what's best for them. So I had a lady that I was talking to and I said, well, if this is your goal, if you take this bundled package first instead of doing, whatever else you want to do, this bundled package is better for you, or there's going to be a sale tomorrow, or whatever it is. Like, I'm just letting them know that I care about them and I'm concerned. And that, I think, builds that genuine relationship that they'll trust me. And so then when I recommend products later, they'll agree with that and want to do that as well.
I love that. You're just like making it very clear. Listen, I'm not trying to sell to you. This is what is going to give you the maximum results. So, and that's genius about shake, because that's one thing they've been saying is it curbs your appetite, but it's not a meal replacement. And like you said, like putting the greens in it, now all of a sudden they're getting that extra nutrition. And if they mix it with like, almond milk or something else, they, still up the calorie count and make it closer to a meal replacement. So that's a really good idea. Awesome. Okay. And then what would be the best advice you would give people who are trying to balance multiple things? Because even though you're not working a full-time job right now for the first time in your life, you have a newborn and you're going to school full-time. So how are you balancing It Works with doing all of that?
Well, I think like everybody else, well, maybe not, I don't know. I plan out my posts the night before. So I think, okay, this is the product that I'm going to sell. And this is the picture I'm probably going to take. And this one I'm talking about it. And then I have saved in my notes a go-to script, and then I just modify that and then post that with my picture. And so then I'll plan out what times of the day to post them, and again, which ones I want to do, which products to hit hard. Like right now, cleanse is a big thing, or hair, skin, and nails. I've been getting a lot of response with that, so I'll do that. And then I try to make them creative too. And again, this all just comes from planning the night before. And so if you can even spend that hour, like when Dexter goes to bed, I spend an hour afterwards and plan out my posts and go and like people. And like Lauren had said, I go through and like look at people's posts and think, okay, what are they doing? What do they want? And so there was a lot of anxiety posts these last couple of weeks. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to hit Confianza. So then I planned out what to do, and I took pictures and did all that. So just planning ahead definitely helps.
I love that. I think that hour before bed makes the world of a difference in how your day goes the next day if you have a lot of stuff going on, because life happens and things come up. But if you already have some stuff typed out, like you said, you can take a quick picture. You already have something, you can just copy and paste and go. So I think that's a golden tip for anybody that's trying to balance a lot of stuff. Well, okie dokie. Well, you two think, I'm going to touch on a few things, and then you guys think if there's anything that y'all want to add, and I'm going to come back to y'all at the end for anything that pops in your head. Because if y'all are anything like me, the second we move on to someone else, you're going to be like, oh, should have said that. So, okay, let me make sure. All right, we're good. Okay, I wanted to hit on a couple things. First of all, I want to hit on Instagram. So I know about half of y'all, actually probably less than half of y'all, are currently working Instagram, and the other half hasn't yet, and probably just because they're probably wondering how do I even get started with Instagram? So that's been surprisingly one of my strong points since starting the business. I honestly had no impressive Instagram at all before I started. I had like 300 followers and I posted on Instagram, I'm pretty sure like once a month or something like that. And I'll never forget, it was like a week into the business, Zach and I were like, is Instagram even worth messing with? And so we messaged Claire, and Claire just like one-liner, Instagram is huge. Yes, you want to do Instagram. Maybe that's 2 lines, but you get my drift. So I was like, okay, so we just started following people and, constantly trying to grow that following and interact, with other like just, people that were in similar phases of life as us. And it's been amazing because literally over half of my little customer signing comes from Instagram. So, I mean, if I sign 30 in a month, I would actually say it's more than half. I would say it's probably 20 of them are going to come from Instagram and 10 are going to come from Facebook. And these are people that I don't know. These are people I've never met a day in my life. And so I really want to make sure everybody knows how to get started on Instagram. And of course, if after this Zoom, any of you want to come to me and ask me more detailed questions, please do, because Instagram is huge. If you can get Instagram going and get Instagram just flowing successfully, you're unstoppable, because everyone's warm market eventually caps out, but Instagram is an endless cold market. There's, I can't even remember. Does anybody know how many users the latest on Instagram? Isn't it like 1 billion? Or Zach, don't you? We were just talking about this. Unmute yourself. He doesn't know how. Hold on.
Okay, I'm here.
How many?
Sorry, I was playing with a baby.
How many users are on Instagram? You just told me the other day.
Oh, heck, Brittany, I can't remember. You know how I remember. I forget these facts.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
A whole ton. Especially a lot of the younger generation are skipping on Facebook and just going straight to Instagram. Yeah. A lot of people. So it's a huge, huge, huge market. And it's not as cold as Facebook. Like if you add somebody on the Facebook, I don't know if Brittany's already said this, but Facebook takes so much longer to actually get people involved and to call on you, and it takes so long to kind of convince them to buy a lot of times. But Instagram, I don't know who these people are, but they just come out of the woodwork like, hey, I need that. And it's a boom, 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 pretty quick sell most of the time. So it is a gold mine for real. Do not neglect Instagram. It is huge. Okay, I'm going to mute myself again.
Okay. Yeah, basically what Zach said, I was trying to figure out the amount of users. It's a lot of users, guys. Facebook has more, but Instagram, it's just an endless cold market. And what he said about them not being resistant to you is what one of the biggest points is. Facebook, I will have people that will order, maybe yesterday, and they will say to me, I've watched you ever since you started. And I'm like, I started 7 months ago. Why are you just not ordering? Instagram, I can add 200 new followers and then the next week do a defining gel post and get 10 customers from it. And they're from those 200 new followers. So Instagram, it doesn't take as long. If they're interested, they're going to buy. It's a simple done deal. I mean, of course, you're always going to run into people who maybe don't have the money right that second, have to wait till they get paid. But if you're feeling like your warm market doesn't have the money, isn't interested, are snobby to what you're doing or whatever, I encourage you go on Instagram, because you can find people that are ready to give you their money. So Instagram's huge. I have an Instagram training on my YouTube if anyone wants to watch it. It's about 20 minutes long, and I just show you my iPad and I literally show you how I would go through and start building an Instagram from scratch. So if you want to watch that, feel free. But basically all we do on Instagram, to keep it really simple, is we add followers. After a few days, we unfollow whoever didn't follow us back, so we keep our numbers even. And I just post exactly like I post to Facebook. Now, I do delete before and afters 24 hours later, which on Facebook I don't. But on Instagram I do, because I don't want my Instagram looking, spammy. And when I get new followers, I don't want the first thing them to see is like a picture of the back of someone's legs, cellulite and no cellulite. So I post that stuff, but I delete it 24 hours later. And I just make sure everything is bright and crisp. I use PicTapGo, which any of you who have an iPhone, you can download that for $1.99. It's totally worth it. I don't think I've ever bought an app before I joined ItWorks. And so whenever Claire told me to buy that, I remember thinking like, oh, it's $1.99. And then I'm like, whatever. She says to buy it, I'm going to buy it. She's, after all, making, double 6-figure income. And literally I use it every day now. I put every single picture through that app. So I encourage you, if you have an iPhone, get it. If you don't have an iPhone, Michelle and I have been trying to figure out an Android compatible app like that's similar to PickTabGo. Michelle, have you found one yet or no? No, you haven't? Okay. As soon as we figure one out, we'll let y'all know. But yeah, PickTabGo is huge. Just make your pictures bright, make your captions catchy, like be funny if you can. I'm not the funny person in the relationship, Zach is, but you know what? On Instagram, I can actually be pretty funny. People think I'm funny, so that makes me happy. But so anyways, just yeah, just be you on Instagram. That's the best advice I can give you is follow people that are like you. So if you are, you know, in college, then follow a bunch of college kids. If you are married with kids, then go follow a bunch of other moms. You know, you can hashtag stuff and find people that are just like you. So that's what I would encourage is just be yourself and follow people like you. That's going to give you the best results. The second thing I wanted to hit on is to maximize LC signing. There's a couple things that I want to make sure we're all on the same page about. Number one, when you're talking to somebody, don't say anything about auto shipment, 90-day commitment, anything like that, 3-month commitment, because that scares people off. Even though it's not a big deal, I mean, 3 months is not that long of your life. It's amazing how, you know, the psychological effect that has on people. So when you say something like that, someone who may have ordered now all of a sudden is like, oh, I don't want to do that. I have a script and a lot of you have it, and whoever doesn't have it, I will send it. But basically all that I say is if someone were to ask me about hair, skin, and nails, I would say hair, skin, and nails retails for $55 and it's $33 for loyal customers. All it means to be a loyal customer is after purchasing hair, skin, and nails today, you agree to try one thing in February and one thing in March. It can be anything at all, can continue to be hair, skin, and nails or something different. I go on a little bit longer after that, but that is the gist that I say every single time. So I literally am wording it like you're just trying one thing in February, one thing in March. No big deal. So I encourage everyone, if you're not, 600 million. Michelle says Instagram has 600 million users. So I encourage everyone, if you're currently wording it a different way and it's working for you, then that's good. But if you're wording it a different way and then you don't feel like people are signing, then it could very easily be the wording. So switch the wording and I guarantee you're going to start seeing results. Because when we first started, I played around with the wording for about the first 2 weeks. And finally I was like, okay, this is what's working. No one balks at this. Even if they don't have money this second, they'll tell me, okay, that sounds great. I have to wait till I get paid Friday, but then I'll order. It's so much simpler. Nobody gets scared at that. The second thing regarding maximizing LC signing is put your orders through yourself if you're not already. I know whenever we first got started, we gave our website to, gosh, I don't even know how many people, Zach. It was a lot. And then I remember just sitting there wondering why I wasn't seeing these orders in eSuite. And I was getting so frustrated. And like some people I would check in and maybe they ended up ordering later, but it took them like 2-3 weeks to put the order through. They were like, oh yeah, I've been really busy. I've been traveling for my job. I just haven't had time. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it takes 2 seconds to put an order through. So you will drive yourself crazy if you give everybody your website, because people, even though like if you want something, you go to the website and you put the order through. Not everybody's like that. I've discovered in this business, people are weird. Like some people, they will literally just stall. So rather than put yourself through that stress, especially if you need the volume at the end of the month for a promotion, just put the orders through yourself. I literally, again, have one thing I say every time. And it's just whenever they say that the price sounds good, they say, that sounds great. How do I order? I say, okay, great. I can get the order through for you. I just need this, 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 and this. And then I always say, after I get the order through, I'll send you your system generated login info and you'll be able to log in and view everything. I do this even with Instagram people that I've never met a day in my life. And guys, they send me their info. They see my Instagram. They know I'm a nice person. They know I'm a mom with 4 kids. You know, nobody thinks that I'm going to steal their info. They just send me their info over. And if ever I have someone that is a little weird about social media, like they're like, oh, I don't want to send it over Messenger, I'll just say, oh, great, I'll give you my phone number and you can text me the info or call me. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, okay, sure. And they'll text me the info. So I've had a couple people that really want to do it over the phone, and that's fine. I'll take 5 minutes and we'll do it over the phone together. But I really encourage everybody to start doing it that way if you're not, because you can get that order through in less than 5 minutes and it's done, it's through. You know that order's in eSuite and you don't have to follow up with that person anymore. But the second you give them your website, you've lost all the power. They have everything they need to order. And at this point now, you're just like, you're just checking in like, hey, are you going to place your order yet? Are you going to place your order yet? And so you still do want to follow up, but you just put yourself in a harder situation. So I would just encourage you to not handle it that way.
Yeah, those were some of the hardest and most frustrating months of our entire life. Having to follow up all these people. Yeah, I'm everywhere. Those having to follow up all these people constantly and taking months for them to finally, like, they had the website, but they would not place the order. That absolutely drove us insane. So this is a foolproof method.
Yeah.
Everybody will give you their info, like she said.
Yeah.
Yes.
I literally I pretty much, my goal is I have to sign a customer a day. If I don't sign a customer a day, my head starts spinning. So out of an average of 30 a month, I might literally have one person that refuses to give me their info. And when I say refuses, I'm saying that loosely. They don't usually refuse. But basically my point is people aren't weird about it. We live in 2017, our info's all over the place. I mean, how many people's systems get hacked? Target, you know what I'm saying? Like, people just they're not worried. You stealing their info really is not one of their, it's not on their radar. So I actually did not start doing it this way until I watched Dustin Bland, who's no longer with the company, but he was one of the top LC signers in the whole company. And he did a training. Claire interviewed him. And I guess this was in like August I watched this. And he talked about that was how he was signing so many LCs, because he signs like 100 a month. And she was like, how are you signing so many? And he was like, basically, so the second they say that sounds good, I'm like, give me the info, I'm getting order through. He doesn't give them time to change their mind, time to talk themselves out of it, time to forget about it. And so that really spoke to me. And for even though he's not with the company, his training is golden. I will send you guys the link in Facebook Messenger on our team message thread later, because if you have, it's like an hour long, but I know Michelle's watched it and Zach and I've watched it. It is seriously golden. Like, if you can just listen to it in the car ride, driving to work, or while you're in the shower at night or whatever, it's a really, really good training. Like, it will just speak life into your business. It's full of ideas. So okay, so that's a couple things I wanted to hit on, was just the wording and putting the orders through. The last thing I wanted to hit on with just boosting your volume into this month, because guys, whatever Mark is doing at conference, you guys are not going to want to miss out on. Okay, so he's been dropping hints left and right, and anybody that's been on the family call the past couple weeks knows what I'm talking about. He still isn't telling us exactly what he's doing, but the past 2 years he's done double good bonuses at conferences. Conference is February 8th through 11th. Or no, I'm sorry, it's the 9th through 11th. We're going on the 8th. That's why I have that in my head. But double goods is basically all the good bonuses, get out of debt, they're doubled. So they go, instead of from $1,000 to $75,000, they go from $2,000 to $150,000. And if you're telling yourself, oh, I'm brand new, I won't be able to get any of that, you're wrong. Like, you can. Claire went to conference in February as a diamond and came out of conference season a triple diamond with $130,000 of bonuses. She promoted twice. Katie Rogers and Sarah, who are on Bomb Squad, they're leaders. Katie's a double diamond and Sarah's a diamond. Sarah and Katie both went into conference a ruby. Sarah came out a diamond with, I want to say, $24,000 in bonuses, and Katie came out a double diamond with $74,000 in bonuses. So again, if you think, oh, I'm just an executive, I'm just a ruby, I'm not going to be able to do anything, you're wrong. Like, conference season's crazy, because you got to think, guys, February people get their tax returns. So all these people who are telling you they're broke right now, give them a couple weeks. They're not going to be broke. I mean, they're still going to be broke, but for a month, they're not going to. So they're going to order whatever they've been wanting to order from you. That's the time when you can really upsell. You can sell systems. You can sell a lot of high BV items. So you can promote really fast during the season. Again, with tax returns, everyone who went into debt over the holidays, now they have that money from their tax return, and all of a sudden joining your team looks really, really good. So just know anything's possible during this season, and you have a golden opportunity on your hands. You have something that can get people healthy and can get people out of debt. So you have a very awesome opportunity to offer people. So just be confident in what you're doing and what God's called you to do, and know that every ounce of work that you put in right now during this month is going to be on your February paycheck and is going to directly affect what bonuses you get. So that's my advice for you guys, is just work really, really hard in January. And as far as, that was kind of just a small rabbit trail. As far as posting goes, just make sure all your posts, you're closing with a sense of urgency. So for starters, be sure and post every day if you're not already. Some of you have heard me give this analogy before, but there's an analogy one of the Ambassador Diamonds gives that I love. And she says, if you're walking in like your town's downtown area, and there's this like little cute clothing boutique, but they always have a closed sign on the door. You're never going, eventually, after seeing that closed sign multiple times, when you need clothes, you're not going to think to go there because in your mind, it's irrelevant. They're always closed. They're never open for business. So you're going to go somewhere that's open. There's a lot of people involved in some type of direct sales right now. Advocare, It Works, Plexus. It seems like people are selling everything. I know where I live. I'm sure Lauren can relate to this because we have a lot of mutual friends. There's Plexus people galore. I mean, I would have never joined Plexus simply because everyone I went to high school with is selling Plexus. And a lot of them are doing really great. But you got to think, guys, like, when someone is trying to lose weight during the season, they're going to go to who's first on their mind. So you want to be the first person that they think to go to. You don't want them to go down the road to your competitor. And they will if your competitor is the one posting every day and you post, once every 2 weeks. So just be consistent with your posting. Read over your posts before you post them, and just instill a sense of urgency. So I always like to close it with, I have 3 spots left. I can offer my 40% off discount. First come, first serve. Message me ASAP to claim a spot. You would be surprised how many messages literally say, do you still have a spot? So I know, when you're getting started, you're kind of like, why am I saying this? Because it's, we're social media marketers. We have to be, we have to be good at marketing if we're going to be good at, what we do. So just be assertive, just instill that sense of urgency. And as always, like if you need me for anything, if you're having a conversation with a potential and you don't know what to say, you guys are never bugging me. So screenshot me your combo, ask me what to say, because I would rather help you than you just sit there and be frustrated and not know, how to handle it. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. And I think that's the gist of what I wanted to say was just, and just remember that I'm trying to think what I'm going to say. Just remember that the concept of the compound effect, like everything you do today, tomorrow, the next day, it's all going to compound and have the better results for you long term. So don't get discouraged if like 1 day or 2 days you don't feel like you're seeing results, because we have days like that all the time. I mean, Zach will tell you, we have days where it's just like slow. I mean, this past Fridays are normally my best day ever because of Follow-Up Friday. And I had several people that I thought for sure were going to be finally placing their orders on Friday. And I didn't get a single order until like 11 o'clock that night. And I was so frustrated all day. I was like, I thought I was going to have like 10 orders today. And didn't get any of them in. And so, but you know what? Then the next day was a much better day for me. So just don't get discouraged with the process, because as long as you're being consistent and you're putting in your hard work, you're going to do well, plain and simple. Okay. I want to hurry and get off because I know it's Sunday and you guys have your families and have stuff to do to get ready for work. I just want to touch back with Lauren and Michelle real quick and ask you guys if you have anything else you wanted to add. Lauren, you want to go first? You're muted.
Hello? The only thing that I was going to say is what I've noticed with my Facebook posts, if they're super long, I don't get as good of a response. And I'm wondering if it's because when you're on your iPhone looking at Facebook, if it's a long post, you can't see it all unless you like click see more. And so I think a lot of people don't even read most of the posts because they're like, it's too long. So I try and keep them short and sweet. And that's where I've gotten the most response from. Also, something that I've done every time someone places an order with me, I in my mind, I think like I need to announce this customer on my Facebook. Now I never say like, oh, Mark and Kim just made a big order, but I'll say something like, oh my gosh, just got the sweetest couple started on their journey. And I try and like illustrate that I have all different types of customers, and I try and like illustrate like I am selling this stuff, like people are buying it. Because I feel like a lot of people, and I know I've thought this too, especially about like some of the other companies, I've read people's posts and been like, no one's buying that. Like, stop posting. Like, no one is buying that. And so I try and like illustrate, like, actually, no, like yesterday I did literally wake up yesterday to 4 loyal customer emails, which like makes for the best morning ever. Yeah. And so I posted that. Like, I had 4 friends who were starting this journey together. And so just trying to like remind people that people are buying this. It is working, and it's all kinds of people. It is couples buying a huge order together. It's moms. I just posted something actually while we were on this call because my mom's box came in today. And so I took a picture of her box and was like, all right, mom's getting going today. Just because A, a lot of people know my mom. And two, it's just like, it's not just, 20-something-year-old moms that are buying. It works. It's everybody. It's for everybody. Right. So I try and like keep that, I guess, image, for lack of a better word, that it's for everybody and everybody is buying it. So that's kind of my best.
And I like how some of your posts, you're kind of vague too. Like your jeans post was brilliant. You're like, another pair of jeans going off to Plato's Closet or whatever you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people are like, what are you doing?
Yeah. That post actually was like one of my best because people were like, what the heck? I saw those jeans. Those are size 29s. And I'm like, what? They don't fit me.
I love it.
That was exciting for me because it was like, it's just like genuine emotion. And I feel like that's when I get the best responses. I try and be really genuine with my posts.
Yeah. And that's why, like, anything that you can use and you can give that personal testimony, you use so much better. So even if it's just something small, like you have to start off on Fat Fighters, which are $23, anything that you can use, you're going to be able to sell so much better, because the second you talk about how that product made you feel or what it did for you, all of a sudden, like you said, it's the emotion. People are like, I want to feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Yep, totally.
I love it. Okay. Michelle, do you have anything?
I guess just reiterate what you said about being consistent and posting every day. Yep, there's Dexter. That there's a girl on my Facebook that sells Unique, and I wouldn't know if I bought makeup, she's the first person I would go to, because she posts every single day. She goes live every Thursday for a Try It Thursday thing, and then she even announced that she's trying to get to the top of their company this year. And so, like, again, she's just doing it every day, and so you have to be consistent.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been a slow month for me, Brittany, but I just post every single day still, just keep going at it. And I've been getting more potentials, but you know it's slow. It's the work is paying off.
Yeah. No, definitely. Consistency is key in this business. I think Claire or Katie, one of them, posted in Bomb Squad today. I think it was Katie. She said the only way you fail at this business is if you give up and like quit. And that really is true. I mean, we've got a team of 34 now, and seriously, the people that are doing the best are the people that just, they don't give up. Like, they have a slow couple weeks. They don't care. They keep posting. And you know what? The next couple weeks are better because they didn't, there's a time for reaping and there's a time for sowing. And so you have to remember, it might not be your reaping season this week. It could be your sowing season, but next week you're going to have more of a harvest reap, or next month or whenever. So, well, all right, guys, I'll let you guys go because I know it's Sunday. Message me privately, get with me if you need help on anything, especially on Instagram. And I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. Did anybody have any questions? No? Okay. All right. You guys have a good night. Love you all.